You are listening to episode 23.
Welcome to Drunk Athlete, the podcast where we sit down with everyday athletes over a few beverages and talk about the trials, tribulations, and glory of their favorite subject, their sport, and themselves. Hosted by Big Pistachio's own Coach Aaron Truslow.
Hey there. So today we talked to a badass mountain biker. Yes, we are. And she has had a lot of trials lately with some major back issues over the past years. She recently had some back surgery and had to face the possibility of never riding a bike again when that is her true one happy place. She has built her whole life around bicycles, not only riding them, but inspiring others to ride them too. She coaches new athletes. She coaches high school athletes. She's really never happier than when she's on two wheels helping somebody else learn the true passion of what it is to ride a bike. But between riding bikes, her dogs, her awesome boyfriend, she's a pretty happy girl. And one, I used to call her Fluffy because she has this crazy hair. It's just everywhere. It's just a lot of hair. Anyways, I'd like to introduce to you Miss Laura Neighbors. I am so excited. I am here with Laura.
Hi.
Okay, Laura, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking from Big Bend Brewing Company, their National Park Hefeweizen. Cool. And from what I understand, some of the proceeds from this go to benefit Big Bend. And that's one of my favorite places, so it's all good.
Super cool.
Yeah.
So you're drinking beer and doing a good thing at the same
Right.
time?
Right.
That's awesome. Here, cheers.
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 Good to see you.
Awesome. Good to see you. All right, I've been trying to get you on my show forever.
Yes.
I'm so glad we're here. Yes. I'm so excited. So let's see, when I met you when you were interviewing for my job, I think.
Oh, yeah.
A long time ago.
2014?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was in 2014.
Castle Hill.
Mm-hmm.
I liked you so much from the beginning. I wanted to warn you not to take the job. Not that I don't love Castle Hill. I do love Castle Hill. I just, I knew that maybe you would do a really great job. Mm-hmm. And it would be different. It would be different from what you were doing.
It was challenging. But I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And now I'm back at Bicycle Sport Shop, my home.
Right. So, Castle Hill is good, but it's not your passion. So that's why you're much better suited for where you are.
I had to be true to myself and what I really wanted, and I made a decision that if I'm going back to Bicycle Sport Shop, then I'm going to create something. Retail is great, but I wanted to do more.
Yeah.
And so I talked to my manager, Dylan, and he wanted me back. And I went back and I started teaching women's clinics. I also got certified to do bike fits, which is something I really enjoy as well. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So that's a lot of the stuff I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
It's super exciting. First of all, you are my first female cyclist that I've had.
Really?
Especially mountain biker. I mean, yes.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, she's a badass mountain biker. Woo. So I've had a couple guys in here. Willie Ross, Brian Lee.
Yes.
And, we've had Jason Seville. So we've had some good cyclists.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, you may have heard of them. They've been around a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're planning on bringing in even more. But I really haven't had that female cycling badass component yet. So especially in the mountain biking department. So I'm really excited about that. So tell me, tell me, how did you come across bikes? How did you fall in love with bikes? Was it as a kid?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, I've been riding bikes since I can remember. I mean, there are pictures of me on tricycles, then bicycles, and one of my favorite memories, it was my 6th birthday. My dad picked me up from kindergarten, and he purposely drove me by this hardware store. I'm from Bonham, Texas, little, small town USA. And there was a bike that I'd wanted forever, and he purposely drove me by that store, and the bike was not in the window. And this is on my birthday, mind
It's
you.
heartbreaking.
And I mean, oh yeah, I was heartbroken. And we pull into our driveway, and the bike of my dreams was sitting in the front yard, had a kickstand, banana seat. It was blue and orange, and I tricked it out with a basket, an orange flag. It had a like a card on the spokes that would make a noise when I wrote. So yeah, I mean,
I love that you remember that for your 6th
I
birthday.
remember
come on now.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was like 20 years ago. I'm kidding. No, it was a little bit longer than that. But I've always loved bikes, and 41 years later, I still love bikes, and I have that same feeling when I get on a bicycle. I feel like that little girl, that excited little girl, and I don't think of it as a workout or exercise. It's just something that I love, and it can take you to places, not just from point A to point B, but it can take you to places, you find confidence, or you solve problems, and it's helped me get through a lot of difficult times in my life.
Yeah.
Riding a bike. So,
well, you've had a whole 20 years riding it.
yeah, I know.
So it sounds like riding a bike has been a huge part of your life from the get-go, and it is a part of who you are.
Definitely.
So when did you discover mountain biking, or was it just all part of that banana seat and basket? You just jumping things when you were 6.
Well, yeah, I started jumping ramps when I was pretty young. Sweet jumps.
Sweet jumps.
Mountain biking started almost 20 years ago, right before I moved to Austin. I got a mountain bike. I got a specialized a hardtail. I think it was a rock hopper. And I thought it was super cool. I lived in Dallas, and I could go off a curb and, ride on crushed granite trails. And then I moved to Austin, and I found out what mountain biking really was. So, I don't know. I continued, and I love being out in the trees, out in the woods with animals and just nature. And then I became interested in racing and started racing and had some success for a little while. And really, I'm a competitive person, so I love to race bikes or really anything. But that stopped. A few years ago.
But before it stopped, tell me, what race do you think was your favorite race?
I would have to say the 24 Hours of Rocky Hill Ranch was my favorite race.
24 Hours of Rocky Hill.
24 Hours of Rocky Hill Ranch.
Okay,
it was epic.
So how long had you been riding a mountain bike before you attempted this?
Let me think. I did that in about 15 years.
Okay. So you're an accomplished mountain bike rider. And so what bee flies up your bonnet? You're like, I want to ride my bike for 24 hours.
A boy. A boy.
Of course.
It was a boy.
Of course.
So I raced that race in 2013 with John Russell, my boyfriend. A year before, I met him at Rocky Hill Ranch, at the 24 Hours of Rocky Hill Ranch. He and I were both there supporting friends. We weren't racing it at the time, but that was a race that he had always raced, but he just wasn't racing that year. And we met that night, started dating. You know, it was love at first sight, literally. And a year later, he had talked me into
doing
that. And I'd been leaning that direction anyway. I'd been doing cross country races up until that point, and I just wanted to do something different. Cross country is 1 or 2 hours of being redlined the entire time, and I don't know, it wasn't fun to me anymore, so I wanted to try something different. And I did, and it was absolutely amazing.
And how did it go?
It went great. I podiumed.
Yay.
I was in second place for about 20 hours.
Oh,
and I lost second place in the 20th hour. Fell to third, but that's okay. Don't wear bibs if you do a 24-hour race, because it really takes a lot of time when you have to go to the bathroom.
I was going to say, yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
All the undressing and redressing, so yeah.
Yeah, because you have to unzip and...
I blame my third place position on bibs.
I would blame it on the bibs, too.
Yeah, it's the bibs. It wasn't me. But it was amazing. It was really hard. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I experienced the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And you continue to learn things about yourself even after the race is over. It's like $20,000 of therapy in 24 hours.
I would have lost my mind. I would have been hallucinating out there.
I did.
Oh, okay.
I did. I hallucinated. I talked to bunny rabbits. People rode up behind me and they were like, "Who are you talking to?" Like, don't you see that rabbit on the trail? I mean, yeah. I was pulled from the course because apparently I was slurring my words and my eyes were dilated. And I kept telling them I just needed a cookie.
Just need some sugar.
I just needed a cookie. And finally they gave me a cookie and I bounced back and I was good to go. So, yeah, just bonked a little bit.
Just needed some calories.
Yeah. But it was an amazing thing to do with John. John, I think he passed me about 10 times. But it was a neat thing to do with the love of my life out there at the same time. So, and just an awesome experience for me.
That is cool. That is cool. So what brought you to Austin if you were living outside of Austin and then you moved in?
Oh, I was just looking for a change.
Okay.
I just wanted a change.
Because Austin is awesome.
I was living in Dallas, and it's a great place. It's really cool, but just not me. I love Austin because I can play outside year round. I can ride my bike. I can kayak, hike, anything.
Yeah.
So just more
your speed.
More my speed.
I can't. It's sitting across from you. I can't picture you in Dallas at all.
With my hat and braids.
Your hat and pigtails. No. So cute. Yeah. No, not Dallas.
No.
No. Perfect for Austin. Okay, so that is an epic race, and I just I'm uncomfortable sitting on my chair just thinking about being on a bike for 24 hours.
Oh, yeah.
So you have any hot tips for anybody who would want to do that? Besides no bibs. That was a good one, by the way.
Yeah, don't wear bibs, but definitely wear a chamois. Make sure you have plenty of chamois cream. Nutrition is paramount. It can make or break you. Make sure that you practice everything that you're going to intake before the race, which that's, pretty much, you would say that about any race.
Right.
But your body definitely processes things differently under that type of pressure and that effort than it would on a training ride.
And it's so much harder to eat and take on fuel on a mountain bike. It's so hard. I mean, on a triathlon, it's a little different. We got miles and miles of flat road. We can peel an orange if we wanted to. On a mountain bike, you can't do that.
Well, so you have a pit area. You have people. It's very important to have good people taking care of you, because I would roll in, 10, 12 hours in, and I couldn't think straight. But I had someone there. Do you know Spencer? With Spencer Knoll?
Yes. Yes.
So he was in the pit. He's very calm, very sweet. He would put sleeves on me. He would change out my water bottles. He would basically, dress me, zip my jacket, and just push me. Because at that point, I knew I could pedal, but I couldn't really make any other decisions. So it's important to have someone in your pit like that.
Yeah,
helping you out.
Yeah, that's got to be crazy. Okay, so what other types of mountain bike races did you do?
Cross country, I've done 6, 12, and 24-hour races. I used to do adventure races. Adventure races really got me into mountain bike racing.
Okay.
And an adventure race, I just started out doing like the terra firma races where you don't have to navigate at all. You just basically run.
So not the ones with the maps and the
No,
compass.
I did those. Those came later on, and that's really fun too. But those are typically longer races. But yeah, my first adventure race I think was the beginning of 2000. I can't remember. And it was the first time I'd ever ridden a mountain bike with other people around in a race situation. And I was like, maybe I'll try this mountain bike racing thing out. Yeah. And cool. I did, and I loved it. So,
yay! What's your favorite place to ride in Austin?
Oh gosh, I love the Southie trails. Circle C trails are a lot of fun. They're fast and flowy. They're not super technical. There's a little bit of technical thrown in, but I like to go fast. It's fun. The Greenbelt is awesome, but it at this point, I don't want to get hurt again. I'm coming back from a back injury, so I'm opting for the trails that are a little smoother and not as technical these days.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that back injury, but do you feel like now that you're recovering from it, that you're much more cautious when you mountain bike?
Oh my gosh.
A lot. Okay. So you're a different rider now, basically.
I'm definitely more cautious. It's going to take a while, but before I can let go of it, if ever. It's always in my mind. And I'm very cautious, to say the least.
Yeah. Okay, so we mentioned the back injury. What was it? A crash? Was it just degenerative? What was it? How did it happen?
It had nothing to do with cycling. As a matter of fact, cycling helped keep my back strong, and likely kept me from having surgery even sooner. But it started, I played basketball from like 5th grade through my senior year of high school, played for 8 years, and constant jumping and hyperextension and then landing. I cracked, it was L4, it was a bilateral fracture of the pars on L4. And you can't do anything about that. It's a fracture. It is, but it created a weakness. I was probably 15 when it happened. So you do the math. I'm 47 now.
Yeah.
It was a lifetime of back pain, and it just became normal for me to have back pain. But it got pretty bad in my early 40s, and I began to get a lot of numbness. And these are things like they came on so slowly and over the years, and it was just normal for me to be in pain. I didn't realize how bad things were until I finally went to a doctor, and he started asking me questions, and I was like, yeah, my back is numb, my hips are numb, my big toe is numb, and I'm in tears before I finish a mountain bike race. I make myself stop crying before I cross the line, and L4 and 5 ended up slipping, and then the disc, finally the disc started slipping in and out, and the pain was just unbearable, so I had to have surgery last May.
Okay, so you finally had the surgery, because I know you did everything you could not to have the surgery.
Massage, acupuncture, physical therapy, you name it.
And everything helps a little bit here and there.
It helps a little with pain management, but the problem never went away.
Yeah.
So,
did you ever go the route of lots of pain medications and things like that?
no,
No.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't do well with pain medication, and you know me very well. I can't drink very much.
This half a beer.
I'm a half a beer in, and I'm feeling pretty good. So no, I never went that route. I mean, I would take ibuprofen or Tylenol, but no, I just didn't. I tried it maybe a few times, and it just, I didn't like the way it made me feel.
Yeah.
And I knew that it was a Band-Aid.
Right.
And it still didn't allow me to go ride my bike and do the things I wanted to do.
Right.
It just made me think I wasn't in pain.
Yeah.
So
I think that's very brave of you not to do it. I think a lot of people would have just went down that rabbit hole and dealt with their pain that way.
well,
So
thank you.
no, it's part of your character and who you are. You'd rather be in pain and ride your bike than be hopped up on drugs.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
That's a lot. Okay. So the surgery, finally had surgery last year and we're still recovering from it. Can you tell me what that was like?
Wow. I didn't know a body could feel so much pain. It was rough. I had an amazing surgeon. Oh my gosh. And I was at St. David's right off 35. The people were absolutely amazing, but just the experience itself was pretty traumatic.
Yeah.
I woke up and I thought everything was awesome because I still had a lot of anesthesia and the shots that they'd given me, the local shots. And I was excited because I could feel my toes again.
Oh, wow.
Literally, I could feel my toes. The surgery was about 6 hours long.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and once I came to, I was pretty stoked to be able to feel my toes again. But when everything wore off, things got ugly, and I was in a lot of pain, and I did have the little morphine button.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you have to.
Oh,
You have to, because you can't heal without it at that point.
And that was something, I ended up being in the hospital for a week. I was only supposed to be there that night and go home the next day.
Oh, wow.
But my blood pressure fell because of all the pain meds they put me on.
Yeah.
My blood pressure fell very, very low. And then I ended up getting an infection. So it was a rough week. I was glad to finally get home after that.
Yeah. So an infection from the incision and all that, or
Yeah, somehow I got an infection, so they put me on
Yeah.
a lot of antibiotics and
kept you there and kept their eyes on you.
kept me there. Yeah.
And hopefully kept your pain to a minimum.
It got
Sort of.
better.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so then you had to relearn basically how to walk, right?
Yeah, I couldn't even stand up without a walker, and I feel, so many people have it worse, but we all have a story.
Yeah.
But I feel a little guilty even, I'm not whining, I'm just telling my story,
Yeah.
but it was rough because I couldn't walk. I had to have help just getting up. I had to have help doing everything, just use your imagination.
Yeah.
So it was a very humbling experience as
Yeah.
well. It was depressing. I got pretty depressed during that time because all I could do was sit all day long, and all the adult coloring books, and I could tell you the lineup on television. I read a lot of books. I wrote in a journal, but all of it, I still wasn't fulfilled. I wanted to be that athlete that I've always been, and all I could do was just sit.
Did they prepare you for the recovery portion of this? I'm sure they kind of prep you for the surgery a little bit, but
I wasn't prepared at all for the emotional part of it, and I'm so thankful for many good friends that were there for me, constantly texting me and checking on me and visiting and just, trying to cheer me up. That I'm so blessed to have wonderful friends that, nonstop. They were always checking on me. So
that's what friends are for.
I know. It was an eye-opening experience in so many ways. And although it was probably one of the hardest things I've ever gone through and one of the lowest points of my life, I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
I think perspective is the best teacher that you can ever have if you choose to learn from it. And I learned a lot about life. So I'm grateful for the experience.
Yeah. So a lot of pain. Had to learn to walk, and you had to rely on people.
Oh.
You had to ask for help, which is so hard.
You just hit a nerve.
Yeah, you had to rely on people and ask
hard.
for help. And as a competitive athlete, that's really hard. And I think a lot of people will understand that and identify with that. So, and then going back, literally all the way back to the basics of not being an athlete, but being somebody who could walk out their front door to their mailbox.
Exactly. I remember my first official, I'm going for a walk. I'm going to Strava this, okay?
I think I saw that.
I think it was 0.5 miles, just half a mile. And I had on a back brace, and I had to stop probably 6 or 7 times.
Yeah.
Just during that walk. But wow, I did it. And I think the competitiveness and just having the mind and heart of an athlete got me through that experience.
Right.
Because I had to fight my way back. And I wonder about people that go through what I went through, and they've never had to, I guess, they don't know what physical pain is, and that, sometimes physical pain is okay. There's good pain and bad pain.
Right.
And that it's okay to hurt because you're working to get stronger.
Right.
Knowing that helped me.
Yeah.
That I've been curious about how people get through it and if they didn't have an athletic background. So I'm really thankful for that.
Or the competitive nature and the drive that you have. 'Cause some people don't have it, and they don't heal as well, and they don't recover as well as you have. And
I feel so lucky.
Yeah.
I feel like the luckiest girl.
That's awesome. So now we're what, a year out? How long has it been?
A little over a year and a half.
Okay. When was the first time you got back on your bike?
So I was released to get back on my bike. I'm trying to remember. It was the end of last year, and I overdid it. I know, imagine that.
It doesn't surprise me.
Well, I educated my doctor that there are bike rides and then there are bike rides. There's a difference. And I went out and I was like, well, if, 5 miles was okay, and then I'm going to try for 10 and then 15. And I just kept upping my mileage. Within 1 week, I could hardly walk, and everything was inflamed, and my muscles were really, really mad at me. And so I think it took about 2 months for everything to settle down. And I was released again, and I overdid it again, but not as bad. So I'm learning, yeah.
I think you're totally normal in the athletic realm.
I'm learning to listen to my body and pay attention. And, I don't have anything to prove to anyone. and to stop comparing myself to who I was before surgery.
It's really hard.
And accept who I am and what I am now, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
So that first day you got on the bike and you rode too far, you were just like,
awesome.
Were you scared to get on your bike, or were you just so excited to get on the bike?
I was just so excited to get on my bike.
Awesome.
I didn't mountain bike the first time. It was amazing because my back was fixed. You know, I've got
felt better.
4 titanium screws and 2 rods in my back and a cage where the disc used to be. So it was so cool to know, okay, this is just muscle pain. I'm not damaging nerves anymore.
Right.
So it was really exciting.
You're like,
Yeah.
let's do this. That is awesome. I can just imagine how you felt that day, and the fact that you didn't want to come home.
Sweet freedom. Because I didn't think I would get to ride a bike again.
Yeah.
I really, at one point during my recovery, I just didn't think that would be possible. I couldn't imagine.
You couldn't see yourself.
No,
it
I
hurt so
couldn't.
bad you couldn't imagine getting on that bike again.
I couldn't ever imagine. I mean, I was ready to sell my bikes, and John convinced me not to do that. So
He's smart.
I'm glad that I didn't.
I think everybody would have smacked you around if that was like, you dumbass. Oh, so how long? So it was a year and a half basically before you kind of, from now, and now you're riding your bike a lot more often. You're mountain biking again. Are you racing again?
I'm not racing again. I'm kicking it around. I'm back to doing a lot of the things I did before. I'm coaching the Austin High mountain biking team again this year. That was tough. I've gone 2 years. I wasn't, able to coach them, so I'm really excited to be back with them. I love working with kids. I'm teaching women's clinics again, and just going mountain biking with my girlfriends, and group rides again. So I will probably race again. It's that fire is still inside of me, and
Yes.
I will line up again.
You will line up again, but you have to, like you said, you have to stop comparing yourself to yourself before the surgery and now you're gonna have to race the new Laura, right? And it could be better, it could be stronger, it could be faster, or it's just different, and it could be just different because you're older too,
and it could be smarter.
It could be a smarter racer.
Exactly. So a good friend of mine, you may know Courtney Oaks.
Yeah, I've heard of her. Oh yeah, episode 4.
Yes,
that's right.
she and her wife Rachel were unbelievable friends. I mean, they still are, not were, but during that time, they were amazing. And when I started riding again, they were so encouraging, and they didn't make me feel like I was too slow or that they were waiting for me. They just rode my pace, and they were fine with me stopping when I needed to. And one day Courtney told me that, this is your new normal. And that really struck a chord, because this is who I am now. And I had just been constantly comparing, pre-surgery Laura to post-surgery Laura, and they were very different, and I kept trying to go backwards and be who I was. And I just kept telling myself, this is your new normal, and it sunk in,
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that she told me that, because it was one of the most helpful things.
It's perfect
to help me move forward.
It is It's perfect. The new normal. We're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And you're going to drink that quarter beer that you've got there.
My national part.
Your Big Ben beer. I like Big Ben beer. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and I want to talk more about Bicycle Sport Shop.
Oh, yeah.
And some of these clinics that you do.
Sounds good.
Super cool. Enjoying Drunk Athlete podcast? Become a patron or a sponsor and help keep this podcast going. If you want to make a donation, go to bigpistachio.com/drunkathlete, or you can also find the patron button on patron.podbean.com/drunkathlete. And we'll thank you on the air, send you some swag, or even make you a guest interview. Thank you so much. And now back to the show. Okay, we've refilled our glasses with our Big Bend
Brewing Company, National Park.
It's quite delicious.
Oh, it's so yummy.
So yummy. All right, so Bicycle Sport Shop. How long over the years have you worked there? How many years?
I've been there for about 6 years.
Okay.
I raced for them, but I was a customer first, and I didn't know anything about my bike except get on it and pedal.
Okay.
So I had to take my bike in a lot, and I don't know, it felt like home, and I kept going back there. I mean, as you know, there are many bike shops in Austin. There's no shortage. But I kept going back to Bicycle Sport Shop because of the way I was treated. And being a woman and not knowing anything about your bike, that's important. You know, no one ever talked down to me or made me feel stupid. And it just became a place I wanted to go, even if I didn't have anything going on with my bike. I just wanted to stop in and say, hey. So
awesome.
yeah.
So, okay, so you started there as a customer, then you got hired. What was your first position there?
Oh, my God. I was working in retail at the research location,
Okay, so
183 in Breaker.
How many stores do they have now?
5 stores.
Okay, so that's huge.
At that time, there were 3 stores. I didn't know a lot, but I was excited about everything. I was excited about bikes. I was excited about all the gear and the accessories, and that's how I sold bikes. I mean, it's really funny. I look back on it, and I'm still not that great of a salesperson, but
I'm just so happy to be here.
I get so excited talking about riding and how it can change your life, you know, no matter what your goal is. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So now what's your title now?
Well, I'm in the promotions department now.
Okay.
I've been there for about 4.5 months, and I'm the community engagement coordinator.
Fancy title.
I am so fancy. I mean, if you didn't know this about me, people, I'm fancy. Yeah, and so I just do a lot of community outreach, deal with all of our donation requests, social media. I oversee our 4 clubs and much, much more. A lot of stuff.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you mentioned these clinics a couple times. What are these clinics?
The clinics that I teach, there are a few, but the one that I teach the most, and probably my favorite, it's the Women's Beginner Clinic. And it's not really it's for beginners, but it's for also someone that's been off their bike for a while, or someone who had a bad experience. And the clinic I taught last weekend, it was so interesting, the broad spectrum of women that were in this clinic. There was a very accomplished cyclist there, but she had a terrible wreck about a year ago, broke her shoulder, and she was just having a lot of issues with confidence and, fear. There was someone just starting out. There was someone getting back into it. There was a retired teacher. So just a lot of different women, a lot of different backgrounds.
So if I've never ridden a bike before and I want to either to lose weight or to ride around the block with my kids, this would be the clinic I would go to.
Yes. And what's so fun for me is that I get to see years later all these women that started in my clinics. They're now doing triathlons or century rides, or they are riding on a regular basis with their kids, or they're just riding for fun and the enjoyment of cycling. You don't have to be a racer to be a cyclist, and that's something that I really drive home to the ladies that I work with. You are a cyclist.
Yeah.
You are a cyclist. If you ride a bike, you're a cyclist.
Yeah. I think a lot of people get a bike. They have the basic understanding of how to sit on it and how to pedal it, but they don't go to clinics. So tell me some stuff that they would learn that would maybe help them be a better and more proficient or confident cyclist.
Sure. Well, one of the most common things I teach is gearing.
Okay.
How to use your gears.
Perfect.
But just from working in retail, I began to notice the same thing over and over. Everyone thought the saddle was too high, and they would get on the bike and sit on they would try to start pedaling in the saddle, or they would stop in the saddle and kind of tip over. So it sounds really basic, but I teach people how to start and stop safely.
Yeah. That's huge, though.
Yeah. And then, like I said, gearing, that's a really big one. Cornering, and I'm not talking cornering at high speeds, just, turning a corner, looking through the corner, really basic things. And it's no matter who you are, someone will get something out of the
Right.
clinic. So
Right. Learning cornering, it, like you said, it doesn't mean doing it at high speeds. It could be just like maybe you're on Brushy Creek path and it's got a couple twisty turns. Some people
Exactly.
don't know how to hold their line and
exactly.
to just do that smoothly. So
And doing it in a supportive environment where you're not being judged with other women that are, they're there for the same reason. And, I keep the groups very small. And I am extremely entertaining. I make everyone comfortable because I act goofy and silly and everyone laughs. And
that's an act? Thought that was...
it is.
Okay.
That's an act.
Okay.
But everyone, we start bonding, and they start asking questions, and then the other ladies are like, yeah, I was wondering that too. And so it's just a great environment to learn.
Awesome. Do you, are there other levels? Once they do that, is there another level to go to, or?
I have a clipping in, clipping out clinic where I teach people to obviously clip in and out of their pedals.
Nice.
And I have a pretty foolproof system. And I typically only have one person fall. So I always have Band-Aids in my pocket.
That's good.
And there's a series that I've only taught once, but I want to bring it back. It's a 3-part series where, actually it builds upon the Women's Beginner Clinic, and then the clipping in, clipping out clinic, and then it's like Cycling 101. I set up a course in a parking lot, so it's a controlled environment.
So,
and the
bike handling skills.
the ladies learn to become comfortable with riding side by side, passing, verbal, nonverbal, calling out things in the road and stopping. And then the next week, I take it to the Southern Walnut Creek Trail. So it's still a controlled environment, but they still have to deal with, other cyclists, not cars yet, but other cyclists.
Yeah.
And they get to practice all these skills that they practiced in the parking lot.
Yeah. So for those of you who aren't in Austin or maybe not familiar with the Southern Walnut Creek Trail, I don't know how many miles it is.
It's about 18 to 20, I think, if you ride, from end to end and back.
So we're really lucky to have this. It's a concrete 18-mile, 20-mile trail that cuts through the city and out east Austin, and it's just for bikes, basically.
Yeah, it is.
It's
amazing.
amazing.
You'll see a few walkers, but you'll see a lot of cyclists out there.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, it's so cool. We're such a cyclist city. And I mean, I know there are other cities that are just as much or even more that have more paths like these, but we're fairly new.
there.
It's fairly new to us, only a couple years old, so that's super cool. Awesome.
And then the third part of the series, we take all of those skills and we go on a bike ride. And part of it is on the Shoal Creek Trail, which is also a hike and bike trail. And then we ride on Shoal Creek, so you have to navigate intersections and cars and other cyclists. So it's amazing to see women that, started with me in the Women's Beginner Clinic do their first road ride with a group. It's so empowering, and all of these things carry over into real life. And well, not that cycling is real life, but you know what I mean. The confidence and navigating all of that carries over into your life.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool that you get to coach all that.
It's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome. I love how you love to inspire other women to ride their bikes.
I feel like I can see myself in every woman that I teach. I went through a divorce, and it was a very difficult time in my life, and my bikes got me through that. Deaths in my family, just hard times. Life is tough, and my bicycles have always been my therapy. And I look at these women, and everyone has a story and everyone has a struggle, and I just feel like I can relate to them, and I want to help them get started. And just getting to be a part of their journey is such an honor for me, because I feel like it's the beginning of something great for them, whether it's a weight loss goal or a charity ride or a triathlon, or just being able to ride with their husband or their kids, whatever it is. I'm honored to be a part of it.
That's super cool. That's super cool.
Thank you.
All warm and fuzzy. That's awesome. That is awesome. Okay. Onward. I love that. Okay. So I have a feeling your clinics, after people hear this, will be busier. So how often do you do them?
I was teaching them once a month until I got my new position. And I've been a little busier and working longer hours, but I hope in January to start teaching them monthly again. The weather is a little tricky, January, February, so we'll see. But yeah, I hope to get back to doing it once a month.
Okay, cool. And does Bicycle Sport Shop offer like more advanced stuff that you don't teach, or
so
other programs?
we have a ton of group rides from all of our locations, and there are beginner rides, beginner, mediate, intermediate, and then faster pace rides. And we teach safety. I mean, safety is paramount with all of our rides. Our club, we have a club, and all of our club members lead and sweep the rides, and they teach you. If you don't know what the verbal and nonverbal signals are, they will teach you and keep you safe. So, but as far as like clinics, no, we don't really have anything else, but we do have those rides, and they're amazing.
But as a female, they could go through your clinic series and actually be in a group ride.
Oh, sure. And we have
Shortly
Women's
after.
Ride Day. That's once a month, and we rotate Bicycle Sport Shop locations. And there are 3 different distances that we have, and after the ride we have mimosas and good food and hang out.
How did I miss out on that?
Yeah, right?
Dang, I missed out on the mimosas. That sounds like awesome. That sounds awesome, and it sounds like a perfect fit for you.
Thank you. I like it.
Yeah, you're doing everything that you should be doing. Okay, so we're gonna circle back. When are we gonna race again?
2018.
Okay.
It will happen. All
right. We're gonna see that again. Are you road or mountain bike?
Mountain.
Okay, so you're over the road thing.
If you people could see the face I just made when she asked me that question.
Full on eye roll.
Full on eye roll.
Full on eye roll. Shoulders.
Mountain.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh. Gosh.
Only mountain bike. Okay. So that's awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah.
That'll be really cool.
I'm excited too. I really am.
Cool.
And I'm lucky.
Yeah, no, it's you're going to have such a great day. It'll be really good. It'll be really good. I think that's wonderful. Well, I'm really excited that you came to share your story about your trials and tribulations over your back.
Thank
And I know
you.
it's been a struggle. I mean, I've watched you struggle through the pain for years. And then now seeing you on the other side of it is really huge.
Thank you.
A lot of people have back issues. A lot of people are suffering with chronic pain. And, of course, everybody's situation is different. But it's awesome that you found a way to come out of it, and that surgery was probably not something you wanted to do. Actually, I know it wasn't until it was too late. So I'm really glad that you did that, and you're up and moving and riding a bike again. I mean, that says a lot.
Thank you.
And that you continually, through all of that, I mean, there was even times when you thought you weren't going to ride a bike again, but I don't think you ever thought you weren't going to be teaching people how to ride a bike again.
It's funny that you bring that up, because there was a time I thought, and I'd gone back to work at the shop, and I thought, I just don't have anything to offer anymore. I don't have anything to offer. I'm not that badass, girl zipping through the trails. And Specialized, the bike company,
right,
contacted me and asked me to come to California to their headquarters and speak about my women's programs on behalf of Bicycle Sport Shop, and get emotional. That that trip really turned things around for me. When I went and spoke about what I had created and what I do, I realized I still had a lot left. Mm-hmm. Still had a lot to offer. And, then the physical healing was a little bit further along as well. So, it's just interesting the way things happen.
Yeah. Doors open when you need them to open.
Definitely.
But the other thing, and I almost forgot to mention, is that you're a badass bike fitter too. And I know this because you fit me on my bike for my Ironman, and I had a killer day.
Good. I'm happy to hear that, Erin. Very happy to hear that.
I had a great day on the bike.
I have a feeling I would have heard otherwise.
Maybe. No, it was only me. No. So there aren't, I don't know any other female bike fitters in town. There might be. There might not be.
I'm sure that there are. I definitely think there's a need.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right.
There's a need.
Let's just go there.
Let's just
go there. For bike fitting. And I know we were kind of rolling out. So for bike fitting, most of the bike fitters I know are men.
Right.
And half of the conversation of your bike fit is you up in your crotch going, right, this hurts here. And you're like, this is my,
it's
my Waxahachie hurts.
Yeah, vagagony. I don't want to be in vagagony anymore.
I don't want to be in vagagony ever again.
No, I just recently gave a presentation at Bicycle Sport Shop called Saddles and Chamois.
Okay.
And
I think you should have called it vagagony. But
I taught them many terms. Vagagony was one of them. Soft tissue.
Okay.
Sits bones.
Sits bones, yes.
So these are all words that you can use when you go into, a bike shop.
The lady
don't
parts.
Say.
My lady parts were mad for a really long time. They were mad at me because my fit wasn't right. And because it changed, right? So my fit was right for a very, very long time.
Right. But your body changes.
Your body changes.
Fitness change. Flexibility. Like
the
all these
saddle
things.
breaks down.
Right.
You change the saddle out. Things need to change. So it's hard to do, and most people don't do it. But I would imagine you recommend getting a bike fit almost every year.
Every year, definitely every year.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like you said, all there's so many different factors, but unfortunately, our bodies do change, and they age. And
you lose flexibility,
or you gain it. You know, I mean, injuries. You start compensating. Just there's so many things.
Right.
Yeah, so you need to get a good bike fit every year.
Yeah. And if you're so new to riding a bike, you don't know what a bike fit is. When your bike hurts and you don't want to ride it, there's something wrong.
It's the difference between, I would say, having a dress handmade for you, or just going and buying a dress that's, your size, right? Like having something made for you, it's going to be cut for all of your curves or lack of curves, whatever, versus just going and buying a dress that's in your size. So we customize the bike to fit you and all of your little quirks, whether you have a leg length discrepancy or a back injury, or you're not flexible or you are flexible. We can make the bike fit you and your goals.
Yeah. And a lot of bikes are just standard fits, and people aren't standard.
No.
So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, your torso length, your levers, everything's different.
Everything. Yeah.
For me, it's kind of like, your bike fits you one way, like your car fits you one way. But if I were to get in your car, I would have to adjust all the mirrors and move the seat and up and down. All that would have to change.
Great analogy.
So I can't just get in your car or anybody else's car and just drive off with it and have it feel okay or be good or have good control over it. I'm not going to have good control over it.
Exactly.
If I get in a car, somebody's 6'2" and I'm trying to drive it, I can't reach the pedals, all that. So that's as if I were on a wrong size bike.
Exactly. And it's not in a bike fit. People think, that I'm not racing, I don't need a bike fit. Well, everyone deserves to be comfortable.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're doing. You deserve to be comfortable. And if you're comfortable, you'll enjoy it and keep doing it and maybe ride longer. So, a bike fit is for anyone that rides a bike.
Yep. Everybody needs a bike fit. So schedule yours now. And if you have to have a female, then you're a very good bike fitter if you're still able to do those. I don't know that you moved positions, but
occasionally.
Just request her. But the guys there are good too. But
they're wonderful.
Just know, ladies, you're gonna be talking about your wahoo quite a bit.
Say soft tissue. My soft tissue hurts.
My soft tissue doesn't feel right. It's not right, and a lot of that saddle too. So I gotta fix that saddle. Anyways, awesome, good. Yeah, I almost forgot because it was so awesome. And then when it was right, it was right. I was like, oh yeah, Laura did that for me. Yay!
Yay!
Cool. All right. Bicycle Sport Shop.
My family.
All right.
My Austin family.
That's so cool.
Good people.
Right. I'll be in there soon. Check things out. Get another bike fit. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, Erin.
And having beers
so good
with
to
me.
See you.
This beer is so good. I'm going to go get some more of these. These are good.
Okay.
Good beers. And then we're going to protect our national park doing it. So I'm doing
That's right.
I'm doing it for Big Bend.
You're doing it for the earth.
I'm doing it
basically.
For the earth. For the earth. Oh, my God. On that note, love you.
Love you, too.
And for everybody else, we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
We are excited to announce the addition of Drunk Athlete merchandise, now available for pre-sale in the Big Pistachio store. Go to www.bigpistachio.com/shop to order now. To get in touch with Laura, you can find Laura on Facebook at Laura Neighbors, and that's Laura. NEIGHBORS. And she's also on Instagram at ATXMTBCHIC. ATXMTB Chick. And if you're interested in Bicycle Sport Shop, their bike fitting, or their clinics, check out bicyclesportshop.com.
Thank you for listening to Drunk Athlete, hosted by Coach Aaron Truslow. Don't forget to subscribe to Drunk Athlete so you'll never miss an episode. Please share, rate, and review this podcast so more people like you can find it on iTunes. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please contact Coach Aaron at bigpistachio.com.